Wishing you all a very good afternoon, and I hope you're all doing great today. I would like to first start by thanking you all for taking the time to attend today's webinar. I am Sharda, product expert in ADSelfService Plus from the marketing team of ManageEngine, and I will be your presenter for today. I hope my voice is audible and the display is well and clear. If not, please let me know immediately in the chat box provided. All right, so quickly jumping into today's session, we will be working together on one password, one identity, a real-time Active Directory-based password synchronization for your organization. So why do we need a real-time password synchronizer? Before we get into the working of how we can set this up, we need to focus on why or what are the advantages of a real-time password synchronizer or password synchronization. Looking at the amount of increasing applications that users have to use in organizations on an everyday basis, it gets very tedious to remember multiple passwords. So the simple and easy step that users do towards simplifying the process of remembering multiple passwords is using the same password across all the applications they use. That is, for instance, if my name is Sharda and my password is password at 123, I'm going to keep it simple by using the same username and password across all the applications, both on-premises and cloud applications that I access or I'm required to access on a daily basis. But with the focus towards security and making sure that organizations are compliant, we are secure, we are focusing on the security, making sure that ensuring that the organizations are safe. We also need to take care of the end user's perspective or the users or organizational co-workers perspective as well with respect to securing. So it's not just that we as IT administrators or IT technicians have to ensure that everything is safe and we have complied to all the rules that has been laid on us. We also need to ensure that the users also have a very safe password, a very secure and smart password in order to keep their systems, their applications hack proof. So that is what we're targeting. But at the same time, while the focus is on security, while there is no compromise on security, we also need to make sure that users do not have to remember multiple passwords or the entire process of remembering multiple passwords or more complicated passwords has to be simplified. We need to simplify the process. So what happens when you deploy a real-time password synchronizer like ManageEngine ADSelfService Plus is that it automatically password synchronizes between all the applications that you have enabled it for. Automatic password synchronization is what we're looking at. So end users do not have to put in a lot of effort. They can make use of one password to maintain one identity. Also, it becomes extremely easy from the administrators or IT specialists' perspective because both password and account management is simplified. Administrators do not have to ensure that once a password change happens in the Active Directory, they have to go and reflect the changes or prevent account lockdowns across multiple systems. So with respect to help desk tickets regarding this particular password synchronization is drastically reduced by enabling a real-time password synchronizer wherein you as an IT administrator or an IT specialist, an IT technician, do not have to take the effort to remind your users or go through the password reset tickets for a forgotten password or a locked down account. Also, with respect to ADSelfService Plus, we support multiple platforms and it is extremely easy to configure. So not only for your on-premises applications, there is also a list of cloud applications for which we support real-time password synchronization. and the configuration is extremely simple. We also have a detailed guide for each application which will help you set it up for your organization very, very easy. So at the end of the day, once the real-time password synchronizer from ADSelfService Plus has been deployed, the login process for users is simplified. So all the user has to do is log into his or Active Directory, and they can make use of the same password to access all the applications, all the on-premises as well as cloud applications. Not only that, users can also take care of password resets and change passwords right from their ADSelfService Plus user portal. So before I get into how we can make use or deploy one identity with one password in your organization, let me quickly give you a brief of today's agenda and jump into today's setup, that is Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus. We will look at all the advantages that I listed in the previous slide. We will look at real-time examples of how things work, and I'm also going to show you how to do a configuration for your Office 365 account, and you will realize that the setup is extremely simple. Also, we have a granular password policy, which is not only specific to your Active Directory based organizational units and groups. This granular password policy can also be applied across all the applications for which password synchronization has been enabled or configured. And the password reset that happens for your Active Directory, the password reset does not only happen from the web-based Active Directory end user portal, it also happens via the Control-Alt-Delete screen as well as the Active Directory users and computers console. And this can be done by making use of a password sync agent from Manage Engine. Also, finally, we're going to look at how you as an administrator can keep track of all the changes that's happening with respect to passwords with the help of a detailed built-in report section. So what I'm going to do is quickly jump into Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus Password Self-Service Management Portal and log in as an administrator. So the screen you see is the dashboard. This is the first and primary screen you have access to. Under the configuration tab is where you can find password synchronization or single sign-on. So this is under the self-service tab. And you can see that I've already done the setup for Google applications. So I'm going to quickly click on edit and show you what I've done. The module that I've chosen is password sync. The domain name is evergrowingtech.com. I've listed the display name as self-service. Also, when I did the backend configuration, I've done it for the admin account, that is jakemartin@evergrowingtech.com. I've also given the service account email, which you will be able to find in your Google admin configuration page. So you can have a look at the detailed configuration in our help document as well as our knowledge base page. A stepwise detailed help document is available to guide you complete the configuration for Google Apps. I've also uploaded the key file. I've not given any description, but I've selected this configuration for all the policies and I've completed the configuration. So here you can see that a system is already existing. So before I jump, let me quickly brief you about the policies that I've created in ADSelfService Plus. So under self-service, under policy configuration, I have 3 different policies which has users based on organizational units and groups present in the Active Directory, that is admin, finance, and HR. Let me quickly jump into Active Directory users and computers and show you what I've done in the background. I've created an organizational unit called Sharada, and under each of the OUs, depending on the organizational roles present in an organization, for instance, admin, finance, and HR, I've created users in each of these organizations. Each of these organizational units. So let's take an example of the user Sharda, that is myself. What I'm going to do is try and go about seeing if the password synchronization for Google Apps has been successful, for which let me quickly sign out of the admin account and try to log in as a domain user. Giving in Sharda's credentials, logging into SSP Workshop. The first step that any user would have asked to do is enroll with ADSelfService Plus. You can see that I've completed my enrollment with the help of security question answers. So under the change password tab, you can see that I have a drop down which says all accounts are selected. Let me click on this to show you that self-service, that is my Google account, as well as my Active Directory has been selected. So this is for the change password operation. I can deselect self-service, that is my Google suite, and change my password only for my Active Directory, or do for both, that is my Active Directory as well as my G Suite. So once I give my old password, which is nothing but my Active Directory password, my Windows login password, I will also be able to give a new password and confirm my password. So let me do that action for you. That is my old password. I'm giving in my new password, reconfirming the new password, and I'm going to click on change password. So I have a message which says self-service, that is Google Apps. Password has been changed successfully. So has my Active Directory password. Let me try and log in to my account, that is my Google account, with the password that I just changed. Hit next. So I'm asked to enter my password. Hit next again. And you can see that I have been able to successfully log in and access my G Suite, that is sharda@evergrowingtech.com, with the help of my Active Directory credentials, with the help of my Windows logon credentials. So not only have I changed my Active Directory password, I was also able to successfully change my Google application or G Suite password from the ADSelfService Plus user portal. Also, to quickly verify if this has been done, you can see under the Applications tab that Google Apps has been enabled and sharda@evergrowingtech.com has automatically been linked. Alright, so this process is similar for forgot your password, which is nothing but a password reset. Let me quickly click on forgot your password, enter my domain username, click on continue. I've been posted with my security question answer. I'm going to give in the answer, enter the CAPTCHA. So this is a very simple process, but it is also extremely secure because you are able to prove your identity. So you see that the domain password policy requirements is listed right here, which is nothing but your Windows domain password policy. You can once again choose to reset password for your Active Directory as well as the applications for which password synchronization has been enabled. You can choose not to. Enter the new password and confirm the new password. Enter the CAPTCHA and click on reset password to complete the process. So by enabling password synchronization with Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus, you not only facilitate users to complete password change, to take care of their password changes, you also entitle them for password reset actions, not only for the Windows native Active Directory, that is your Windows Active Directory setup, your users Windows Active Directory setup, but also for all the applications for which we support password synchronization. So you can filter the applications by clicking on password sync right here. You can see that I've completed the configuration for Google Apps and we were able to successfully change the password of both the Google Apps, Google Suite applications of the user Sharda, who is nothing but me. And also I showed you how simple it is to go through the password reset process by verifying the identity with the most commonly used multi-factor authentication. So under self-service, under multi-factor authentication, you can see that security question answers has been enabled by default, We also support verification code via email and SMS. We have the Google Authenticator, the Duo Security. We have RSA Secure ID as well as Radius Authentication. So you can customize this based on the policies present or the policies that you've created in ADSelfService Plus. The policies is nothing but a reflection of Active Directory based OUs and groups, the organizational units and groups present in your Active Directory, and you can choose the multi-factor authentication based on policies present in your ADSelfService Plus setup and ensure that users verify their identity by giving in their Windows logon name, which is the first factor, and also go through multiple factors. In this case, we went through a two-factor authentication by the help of security question answers. Since the user Sharda had already enrolled with ADSelfService Plus, you can also opt for verification code or enable all the six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, all the six multi-factor authenticators and ensure that users have to verify their identity and their password resets are extremely secure. Because not only do we simplify the process of using passwords, we take password management very seriously, but we also ensure that the simplicity of the entire process is maintained so we can or you can enable multi-factor authentication for your organization based on Active Directory based password policies that you create in ADSelfService Plus, which is right here, and thereby the password reset process is extremely secure. For change password, the user has to key in the username and their Active Directory credentials to be able to proceed with a password reset process. So let me quickly show you that for the policy admin under advanced settings, you can see for reset and unlock, for the policy admin under advanced settings, you can see that you can change the settings for Active Directory. It's under password sync. I got a little confused. I'm sorry about that. Under password sync, you can see that synchronize only when the self-service operation is successful in Active Directory has been enabled by default. So under advanced settings, under password synchronization, you can uncheck this particular checkbox, which says that the synchronization is efficient only when the operation is successful in the Active Directory. So in this case, let me show you what happens by quickly logging into ADSelfService Plus as the domain user Sharda, keying in credentials, and under the change password tab, you can see that this time, did I do it for the right account? All right, so once for password synchronization, once I uncheck this, I'm going to click on OK. It's been successfully updated. Let me redo the process. I'm sorry, it's not reflected. Let me quickly check on that and see why it is not reflected. So for the user Sharda who belongs to the organizational unit admin, under advanced settings, I'm going to password sync. Oh, I'm sorry. So this says synchronize only when the self-service operation has been successful in the Active Directory is exactly what we're aiming at. I made a mistake there. I need to check this box which says allow users to deselect Active Directory during reset or unlock operations. So yes, what I was trying to explain is that you as a user or you as an organization can expect your users to change passwords only for a particular set of applications without reflecting the password change in Active Directory. So for instance, if users wish to change their G Suite password or Office 365 password or Oracle password without changing the password of their Active Directory, that can be done by enabling this particular option. Whereas this is mandatory because this is what we are focusing at. We are trying to synchronize only when the self-service operation is successful in Active Directory. So what happens in this case is, if I uncheck this box, when I give in a password, the old password, and reconfirm the password, if the password change has not been reflected in Active Directory, the old password I've given is not the same as Active Directory, the change password will still be successful for the other application, but that's not what we're looking at. We are looking at enabling users to deselect Active Directory during reset operation. So yes, that's where I went wrong. I got a little confused. All right, so logging in, let me check if I can disable it now. Yes, I can deselect my Active Directory and go about changing the password only for my G Suite by giving in the old password, the new password, and confirming the new password. So here you can see that the default domain password policy is listed right here. I'm going to show you how you can change the default domain policy and ensure that you have a more stringent password policy, a better password policy, not only for your Active Directory, not only employed for your Active Directory, but across all the applications you have enabled password synchronization for which what I'm going to do is log into the admin console, go back to configuration, and take you to password policy enforcer. So under the admin tab, for the policy admin, I'm going to enforce custom password policy. You see there are a default set of rules that is enabled. I'm going to quickly tweak these and make changes. So I'm going to disallow use of palindrome, disallow use of a character more than 2 times. We also have more complex rules like disallow 5 consecutive characters from the old password, the dictionary rule, restricted patterns rule. We also make sure number of old passwords to be restricted during password reset. We also take care of password complexity. We can override password complexity with the help of the passphrase rule. That is, if the password length is more than a particular number of characters. So what I'm going to do here is choose these for now, and I'm also going to enforce this policy in the Gina CP, that is nothing but your Control-Alt-Delete screen, and the Active Directory users and computers. And I'm going to display the policy requirement in the change password pages as well, and quickly click on save. Also, if you have any questions during the session, please drop in a question in the questions tab that is available to you. You can also drop in your mail ID if you wish to receive the video of this particular session. I will try to take it as per your convenience. Please post it. If you have any queries during the session, I will try to answer your questions right away to improve your experience of this particular live online free webinar from Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus. So yes, if there is any trouble in following up, or if you have a busy schedule and you have to leave right away, all you have to do is drop in your mail ID in the chat or questions tab given to you, provided to you, and I will ensure that the video recording and the resource material reaches you well on time to help you improve your experience of using ADSelfService Plus. All right, so once this password policy enforcer has been applied for the policy admin, let us see if this change is reflected in the domain user portal. So let me quickly log in as Sharda once again. And under the change password tab, you can see that the password complexity rules that is listed right now is different. So let me quickly give in the old password. And as I give in the new password, you can see that I have a green good to go symbol and also a check against all the password policy rules that I have complied to. So this is reflected in the change password screen. Let me show you the same thing with respect to the reset password screen. So I have to give in the answer to my security question answer, which is the default multi-factor authentication that has been enabled with respect to ADSelfService Plus. Once again, you can see that the enforced granular password policy, the granular password policy that you enforced from the ADSelfService Plus admin console is reflected in the user's reset password page as well. So as I enter my new password, you can see that I have a green good to go symbol. Also, the change in color as I'm entering my password. Let me quickly do that for you again to show you that the progress is from from black to red and green. Also a tick against all the complexity rules that I have abided to. So this shows that my password is smart and secure, and the password that I'm abiding to, which complies to the granular password policy that I've applied with ADSelfService Plus, which not only improves your security of the organization, it also boosts because it is an additional layer of security with respect to the already pre-existing domain Windows password policy. All right, so this password policy can be applied across your Active Directory and all the applications for which password synchronization has been enabled. So quickly jumping back to the agenda, not only do we take care of password synchronization between your Active Directory and other applications like Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce, and many more, we also ensure that a granular password policy, which is specific to Active Directory based organizational units and groups, there is a granular password policy that I created for the users who belong to the organizational unit admin, which is also a policy in ADSelfService Plus by the same name, admin. Your organizational role being admin have to comply to a more stringent password policy, a password policy which ensures that the password is much better, much secure, and more smarter compared to the native Windows domain password policy. All right, so now let's move on, and I'm going to show you how the password reset happens with respect to the Control Alt Delete screen as well as the Active Directory users and computers console. Jumping back to the ADSelfService Plus portal. Since I spoke about the password policy being specific to organizational units and groups present in Active Directory, what I'm going to do is log in as a user Adam. So you can see that the user Adam belongs to the organizational unit HR. So Adam is placed right here. And in this case, you can see that Adam will still stick to the domain password policy, the Windows domain password policy, and the changes with respect to deselecting Active Directory has not been reflected for this particular policy, for this particular organizational unit, that is HR, whereas it's reflected for admin because the policies or changes that you create can be specific to organizational units and groups present in your Active Directory. All right, so we saw how the password policy has been reflected in your change password as well as reset password screens for your Active Directory and other applications. Let's look at the case of trying to reset the password for the user from the Active Directory users in computers console. So what I'm going to do now is give the password. So this is a password that does not comply to the rules that I just applied for the users belonging to the policy admin. I'm going to click on OK. And there you go. I have a message from ADDS which says the Windows cannot complete the password change for Sharda because the password does not meet the policy requirement. So this password policy, this granular password policy that you had enforced for your Active Directory based organizational units and groups is also reflected in your Active Directory users and computers console. So any password change that happens from your any password reset that happens from your Active Directory users and computers console has to abide to the granular password policy that you as an administrator have deployed on the users belonging to the policy admin. All right, so let's test this for the change password action that happens from the Gina CP screen. So I'm going to give the username Sharada. giving in the old password. You can see that once the old password has been detected, which is nothing but my native Windows Active Directory password, my Active Directory password, I also have the password policy that I've enforced listed right here. The password policy that I enforced right from the ADSelfService Plus console is listed right on your Gina CP screen. So as I enter my new password, you can see that there is a check against each password complexity rule that I have abided to. So what I'm going to do is try to skip this by giving in a password that does not meet the complexity rules. You can see that I have only 3 ticks among the 5 rules that I have to abide to. Let me click on enter and see what happens. So I have a message which says your password has been rejected because it does not contain a special character nor a number. Alright, so the native Windows Active Directory password accepts the word password as your password, whereas with the help of ADSelfService Plus, you can ensure that the passwords are taken much more seriously by enabling or enforcing a granular password policy specific to Active Directory users and computers, and ensure that users have to abide to a much stronger, much secure, and much smarter password to ensure that the organization as a whole is very secure and hack proof and is not vulnerable to network based threats. Alright, so I spoke about all that you can do by enabling password synchronization, by making use of Active Directory based policies that you create in ADSelfService Plus, by boosting security with the help of multi-factor authenticators, by ensuring we abide to better passwords with the help of password policy enforcer. So now that we've covered most of the segment with respect to password synchronization and how to ensure that we have a single one password, one identity across multiple applications, multiple on-premises and cloud applications that ADSelfService Plus supports, I'm going to show you how you can set this up with respect to ADSelfService Plus. I spoke about how simple the entire configuration is. I'm going to show you how simple it is by setting it up for Office 365 Azure Active Directory, which is one of the most widely used applications. So I'm going to enable this for Password Synchronizer. The module that I've chosen is Password Synchronizer. And the domain that I will be using is this. So yes, the domain name is zoocop.admgrplus.onmicrosoft.com. I'm going to give the display name as Office 365 to make a slight difference from the pre-existing self-service for G Suite. The username that I'm using is Office 365 team. So that is my admin account, and quickly keying in the password. I'm going to choose this for admin and HR and uncheck finance. So I'm choosing only 2 policies for Office 365 password synchronization and click on save. So yes, the system configuration has been added successfully. Let me try and access one of the user accounts, Adam in this case. Logging into Adam's domain user portal under applications, you can see that Adam at zoocop.admanagerplus.onmicrosoft.com has been detected automatically. So I have the name listed here, that is Office 365. So if you're wondering how, by just enabling password synchronization right from the admin console, how does the application detect the right ID, the right user ID? So let me quickly explain what happens in the background. once I give in the system name, which is nothing but my domain, and the username, which is nothing but my administrator's name, what happens is a synchronization is established between your ADSelfService Plus and your application, that is Office 365 in this case. But an important factor to note is account linking. You need to ensure that account linking is enabled. So let me quickly choose a service provider. Clicking Google Apps, you can see that the system has been automatically detected, that is evergrowingtech.com. Automatic account linking has been enabled and the default Active Directory attribute is selected, which is nothing but a SAM account name. So thankfully for my organization's setup, we use the account format SAM account name at evergrowingtech.com for all the applications in G Suite. But if you do not have a pattern or a standard account format, I will quickly explain what can be done. So selecting a provider that is Office 365 or Azure, you can see that the system zohocorp admgr plus.on microsoft.com, which is my domain, has been automatically detected. Under automatic account linking, this has been enabled and the account attribute, which is nothing but my Active Directory attribute, is selected. You can choose to change this attribute, make use of the pre-existing account, that is account format, that is mail present in your Active Directory, or simply disable this. You can disable automatic account linking, and I'm going to click on save to show you how you can enable password synchronization for applications for which you do not have a standard account format. So what I'm going to do now is log in as Adam once again. Please drop in your questions in the questions tab. We have a dedicated last 15 minutes to answer all your questions. We also have a team of specialists to take your questions. So please drop in any questions you have regarding this particular session. All right, so under the applications tab, you can see that nothing has been detected, no account has been linked. Whereas I have an option which says link account. I'm going to click on link account, and the username that I have in my Office 365 setup for the user Adam is Adam. I'm going to quickly give in Adam's password as well and click on link account. So this is exactly how you as an organization can disable automatic account linking, and the users will be able to manually link their account for Office 365 or any other applications for which you've enabled password synchronization. So once this is done, you can go to the change password screen and see that all the three applications for which you have enabled, that is your Active Directory based password synchronization, has been enabled real time between your Office 365, your G Suite, as well as Active Directory. So any password changes that happens is reflected real time. So what I'm going to do now is sign out and try to log in as another user. So now I've logged in as the user Edward. Under change password, you can see that only the G Suite and Active Directory is present for the user Edward. But under the Applications tab, the password synchronization option is available for Office 365 as well. So what the user Edward would do is click on the link account, enter his username, enter the password, hit link account, and the account will be successfully linked with your Active Directory via ADSelfService Plus. So yes, that is how simple it is to set up password synchronization. So now that I've done the password synchronization for Office 365, let me try and proceed with the change password only for Office 365. I'm going to quickly give in the old password, enter the new password, reconfirm the new password, and click on change password. So now I have a message which says your Office 365 or Azure password has been changed successfully. So if you notice, not only did I change the password only for my Office 365 account, only for Edward's Office 365 account, I was also able to enforce a granular password policy which not only overrides the existing domain password policy, which is your Windows Active Directory password policy, it also overrides your Office 365 password policy. So we as users, we as organizations do not have to go through multiple help desk password tickets with respect to password synchronization, with respect to forgotten passwords, with respect to any password management self-service action that can be done with ADSelfService Plus. So with deploying ADSelfService Plus, we're not focusing on reducing password help desk tickets. We're trying to drastically eliminate the password help desk tickets. More than 30% of the help desk tickets that organizations face is because of password troubles. And with ADSelfService Plus, we're trying to completely eliminate all the password related help desk tickets by deploying Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus. So yes, you can override your native Windows Active Directory domain password policy. You can override your G Suite password policy. Users do not have to abide to multiple password policies. Users do not have to stick to multiple passwords. Users do not have to compromise on password security by choosing the same password for all the applications. Instead, you can deploy ADSelfService Plus in your organization and ensure that security is not compromised on with the help of two-factor authentication for logins and multi-factor authentication for password resets. You can ensure that a granular password policy is enforced. You can ensure that password synchronization is done across on-premises and cloud applications. We also facilitate single sign-on for more than 100 applications, 100 cloud applications with the help of ADSelfService Plus. We take care of complete password self-service by self-updates of information, user information that goes into the Active Directory. We take care of all the users' password self-service actions. All right, so now that I've changed the password of my Office 365 account, of Edward's Office 365 account, I'm not going to leave it right at that. I'm going to test if the password change has been reflected real time. So I'm going to hit Edward at Zoho Corp AD Manager Plus. Manage Engine Office 365 Manager Plus has been detected. I'm going to key in the password that I just changed and click on Sign In. Yes, Edwards Mora, which is Edwards, was able to successfully access his Office 365 account with the help of a password, which is one password for your Active Directory, one password for your Office 365, and all the applications for which password synchronization has been enabled for. That is both on-premises as well as cloud applications. Not only do we facilitate one password and one identity, we also ensure that the password is extremely safe, secure, and smart by ensuring or enforcing or enabling a granular password policy which overrides the existing predefined password policies of the applications as well as your default domain password policy. All right, with that said, what I'm going to do now is quickly sign out and log into Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus admin portal. We have come to the last exercise of today's webinar, today's agenda. I'm going to go to the reports tab to show you that you can ensure all that happens with respect to your password, all that happens in the domain. You can have a complete insight into all the activities that is happening in your domain with respect to passwords can be reported right here. You can have detailed, customizable, actionable, exportable reports right here in this particular tab, the reports tab. So let me quickly go to the audit reports and click on change password audit reports to show you that the changes that happen is real time. So you can see for the user Sharda, there was 2 attempts today at 6:38 for G Suite as well as Active Directory. So I'm going to click on Reset Password Audit Reports. There was no reset password. Self-update audit reports. We did not go through any self-update. You can also have a track of logged out users, soon to expire password users, and password expire users, and ensure that they are notified via mail or push notification to be able to reset their password well in advance or ensure that their account that is locked down can be enabled once again. So yes, in detailed, actionable, customizable reports all present right here under one tab. Alright, so yes, that is how simple it is to work with ADSelfService Plus. That is how simple it is to configure password synchronization. We are looking at one identity with one password, and that can be achieved for both cloud-based and on-premises applications. Your Windows Active Directory-based password synchronization across your cloud-based and on-premises applications, right from Oracle, HP UX, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, Zendesk, Salesforce, G Suite, Zoho, and Office 365. So yes, thank you so much for an amazing session. I was really happy to be the host of this particular webinar for this particular audience. And I have covered all the exercises in today's agenda. I really hope that this session was extremely useful to you. Please take time to drop in all the questions you have, all the suggestions or the upcoming sessions that you're looking forward to with respect to password synchronization or with respect to ADSelfService Plus in general. And I will ensure that all your suggestions and ideas are taken forward. So yes, now I'm going to take time to answer all your questions. Please keep them coming. You can also contact us for support@adselfserviceplus.com or drop in a mail to me at sharda@manageengine.com. You can also drop in your mail IDs right here in the chat or questions tab. I will make sure that the entire session, the resource material for this particular webinar is mailed to you right away. And please give in your suggestions, ideas, and comments about today's webinar and the application in general, because that is what keeps us pushing to do much better and keep improving, striving to keep improving. So thank you so much for that. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for taking the time away from your busy schedules to attend my webinar today. It was an immense pleasure to have you on board and be the host for today's webinar on one password, one identity, Active Directory based real-time password synchronization. On that note, this is Sharda signing off for today from the marketing team of ManageEngine. Thank you all so much once again. Have a great day.